All right, we're going to open this one up with a little bit of spider 8 play. If you want to skip this part and possibly skip some absolutely adorable spiderlings, you can go to 344, where I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. But this breeding attempt was made in November 26th of last year. The female is mine. The male was provided by Tanya at Fear Not Tarantulas. And as you can see here, it was very successful. Upon opening the male's enclosure and the female's enclosure, the male immediately came right out and approached the female. There was a little scuffle for a second. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but then they went doing their deed and did this thing for a little while. And again, I shortened this one up a little bit, but overall it was a very quick breeding attempt. I think it took about 5 minutes from start to finish. He went in, he got several insertions, and then walked away, and everything was fine. I did not pair him a second time because I was pretty sure the first one worked, and apologize for the quality of film here. We're kind of trying to get this one shot in not optimal lighting conditions. So there you can see they're doing the deed. This is so much fun narrating spider sex videos. Kind of running out of things to say here. But anyway, this was a successful pairing. It took about a month. I believe this was on November 26th. It was around December 28th while I was on my winter break, right after Christmas and the holidays, that we found the egg sac. We kept the temperatures in the room. She was on a top shelf where the temperature was right around 68, 80 degrees. I kept that water dish full, and then once a week I would go in and mist down inside the enclosure because I didn't want it to dry up too much. We do run the space heater in that room, and things can become very, very dry in there. And overall, with the exception of one little blip where my heater became unplugged and the temperature in that room went to 90 degrees, I have a space heater, and unfortunately accidentally turned it back on after it got unplugged, and it restarted at 90 degrees, and it was almost a debacle, but she was completely fine, obviously. We'll see in a moment. But everything went very, very well. Here we go again. Probably could have edited some of this out, but for people interested in breeding, this is what you get to look forward to. And in a moment, they'll get done. And this female here is about 5 years old. She was definitely mature, and I'd fed her. She was honestly very close to going into pre-molt, I think, before the breeding attempt, so she was nice and fat, which is, I usually try to keep my females nice and fat before the breeding, so A, they don't munch the males, and B, you can get a larger sac size. And in just a moment here, we're going to switch over, and there she is with all of the babies. Now, this cage wasn't particularly ideal for housing all these little guys, but luckily they stayed in her webbing for the week it took me to be able to rehouse them. And what I did was use cheesecloth and tape to kind of cover up the vents and some of the areas where they could escape. It worked well for the most part, but I did catch one of them trying to squeeze out. So Billy and I ended up rehousing all of these guys one night after school, and we had a great system down. It only took, 50 minutes, I think, total. So it went very, very well. But again, I do not want to get into selling spiders by myself because I have so much to take care of. Just the shipping and timing things and the packaging and all that is not something I really have the time for. I do want to produce them. I do want to get things into the hobby, but I'm just not keen into doing the sales side of it. So we're going to move on to the next part of the video, which is going to discuss where they are going. All right, Tom Moran from Tom's Big Spiders here with a couple special guests. First off, we have Rachael Pan from Rachel's Eight-Legged Wonders. I got it right? Yeah. It's gotten really silly here today. This is going to be a good one. Anyway, reason why Rachel's here, she's representing Fear Not Tarantulas, and we're going to introduce somebody else in a moment who doesn't want to be on camera, but we're going to get her on camera anyway. But we recently just hatched out some Caribena versicolor slings. Billy and I spent the good part of the afternoon of my birthday, I believe, getting these guys out of here because unfortunately my enclosure wasn't quite what I needed to keep them trapped in. So Billy, if you want to come up here for a minute, we're going to look at the female, who I've had for quite some time, I think 5 years or so. Is she showing up in there?
These guys change a lot as they age, too. Like, I'll pull out a spiderling vial so you can see the difference. If you can get close enough. They're absolutely adorable. If you can see let me hold my hand still for you, actually, how blue these little guys are. They're blue, very, very fuzzy, very fast little babies. And then as they age, their color will slowly change little by little with each molt. After they get about 2 inches or so, you'll start to see the color change. And eventually you'll have this absolutely gorgeous adult. Males will have similar coloration, they'll just be a little bit smaller. But this is his really beautiful female.
Just a little drab before. She needs a little mold, I think. Well, no, she's looking good there. Got to fatten her up. She actually ate a cricket yesterday, so we got the sack out. She was a little stressed for a bit, but immediately ate a cricket after we cleaned everything out and put her back in. So I have a lot of people asking. I did not post up the breeding video. I will probably put excerpts of that before this one, where we had the pairing, which was pretty good, as Lily clicks around the background. That seems to be my trademark now. And a lot of people ask me if I'm going to sell these myself. I'm not going to get into the business of selling these guys by myself. It takes a lot with just taking care of the 200 plus animals I have and actually doing the blog, the podcast, all the other stuff I'm into. So what we're going to do is I'm going to be handing them over to a very trusted source, and she's going to step into the frame for a minute. Tanya, that's you. We have Tanya Stewart from Fear Not Tarantulas here, who is reluctantly agreeing to appear in this video. We tried to get her last time. She had stopped down, and she didn't want to. And I don't blame her, because I'm sweating right now quite a bit myself. So we're going to let her get back out of the frame so she doesn't panic if she wants to leave.
You guys can put a face to the name now. Famous Tanya Stewart.
And I can brag that I actually got her to appear on camera, which we've been working on for a while, but that's because I was on camera.
She's giving me an evil look.
She's not happy with us, and this is probably the end of this happy marriage between Tom's Big Spiders and Fear Not Tarantulas. But anyway, these guys will be for sale at Fear Not Tarantulas. I encourage people, and I send a lot of business over there anyway, to go over there and check these guys out if they want the ones that we hatched out. It was Tanya's male, my female, made some very beautiful blue babies that are all quite lively. So again, we're going to do something a little different too, is I'm going to pass it off at the end of this video to Rachel, who's going to do a little bit of husbandry information for the adults. So people that don't believe me can go over check her channel out and get some good information on how to keep them. And hopefully you guys will go over there, give her a subscription, subscribe to her channel, check out her videos. And I think that's it for now with Brew that we had to lock outside whining in the background. So I'm going to pass it off to Rachel at the end of this video, and I will go ahead, you know what I can do? I can do my little pointy thing, but I only got 20 seconds to do this. If you want to check out my videos, they're usually going to be in here, so you're probably going to get covered up. You can subscribe to me up here, subscribe to Rachel up there. We might put one of her videos down here. Actually, I'll put yours down here. We'll time this. Okay. And then you can click there. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to say anything else.
And I'll mention too, there's a difference in care between the spiderlings and the adults. So I'll just briefly touch on that in my video as well, about how you change your care as the spider ages.
Awesome. And I'm going to go one more time because we went over the 20 seconds. YouTube only gives us, I think, 20 seconds.
Oh, sorry.
So no, this is perfect. So we got yours will be here, mine will be here, me up here, you up there. Why are we counting?